Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here in my patio today and I want to go ahead and hang a TV right here, but the only power I have is down here. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you how to install an outlet up here and piggyback it off the GFCI if you already have a GFCI below, so you don't have to run surface mount wiring. So stay tuned. Alright, so what I have here is a stucco home with a CMU wall. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult than if this was a regular wood wall or some other type of wall that you can drill into easily. But luckily, I've already done one of these for my AC install on the outside on the other side of the house, so I kind of know what I'm doing. And I've also drilled and cut into this CMU before, so I've got a little bit of experience doing this. So what I want to do is I want to hang my TV up here, but I want to make it kind of seamless with the power, and I want to go ahead and put a outlet right over here, but I also want the GFI protection. So the GFI protection is right here. That's the ground fault where you have the test button and the reset button stuff. So what we do is on this thing, when you bring it in as an input, it's not protected, but there are lugs on the back that allow you to piggyback off of it and still have the same protection of this guy on the subsequent outlets. So what I've already done is I took off the cover for my GFCI right here. It had a nice cover on it, and then I took off the faceplate so you can actually see the outlet and everything. The one thing you want to do is make sure the power is off. So right now I believe my power is still on. Yeah, so right now if I put it back here, I'm getting beeping. So you make sure your outlet is off or your breaker is off before you start working. Once you do that, you can go ahead and pull this thing out and then get to the wiring. The first thing I want to do is I want to fish a camera up here. I want to make sure I have a straight shot behind the CMU wall. That way, when I drill up here, I don't run into any obstruction. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Take that out and fish a camera up there just to see. Alright, so I was able to fish this thing up, and I can kind of see straight up that shaft right now, pretty much on the camera. So this thing pretty much is pretty clear. So I'll go ahead and start drilling the top now and figure this thing out. So the next thing I want to do is make sure I mark a straight line straight down, because I want to pretty much drill it in the center first to see where the channel is, because you know, you could be to either side of that CMU block. It's not that much room to work with. It's probably just enough to get an inch on either side of that box once we put it in there. So we want to be pretty much exact, drill a hole in the middle, and then figure it out from there. Once you determine how close you are to the edge of the CMU, then you can work the other way. And then I also need to determine how high I want to go on here and then drill that hole, because you want to cut into one block. You don't want to have to cut into two blocks that are separated by any mortar. So I went and used this big old stick right here I have, this level. I measured the CMU block in my garage. So basically the end of this goes from the end of the block in the mortar. So wherever this thing down here lines up, it's gonna line up the same on that block up here. So I measured it as far as the level goes, and I marked it. So right now I have 4 dots on here, and I want to be in between those 4 dots when I go ahead and cut this hole. So I'll go ahead and drill right in the middle and try to figure out where I'm at before I work to the corners. This is a single gang box I'm going to be putting into there. I'm going to be putting it basically in between there, so you can see the single gang is much smaller than that one down here that's kind of sticks out from the wall because it's designed for stucco and CMU. This thing, I'm going to get it into there and then seal it up, and I'm going to get a new replacement door like the one I used in my backyard on the other side by the garage, and put it right here for the weatherproofness. All right, I went ahead and just marked that box. Basically the outside of the box, I put it in backwards like here and just marked where I needed to be to get it into there. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and use my hammer drill right here. Hammer drill is what you need to kind of get into the CMU block and the stucco. And then I'm gonna drill some pilot holes first just to see where I'm at inside of there. And then I'm gonna use this big old drill right here to basically drill like the corners right here to get the stucco pieces out first. And then once I get the stucco pieces out and kind of that chiseled out, I'll go ahead and get into the actual CMU itself. Alright, now that I got that first hole in there, you can go ahead and put the camera in here, see where we're at as far as the distance, but we are pretty good as far as centering goes. I can also see the left and the right and see where I'm at there, but it looks like I'm pretty much in the center, so I'm good here. Alright, I got it pretty much opened. Everything's good. Now I just gotta get all the little corners and edges to kind of fit the side. This one I went a little bit too much out of the line, so this one's actually a little bit bigger, but once we're done, I'm gonna go ahead and seal it up with caulk. In the past, I've also filled it up with spray foam, but I don't think I have any more spray foam, so I'll probably just end up caulking this up when I put it in there. So on the box here, to test fit it, I'm gonna go ahead and take these wings off. I have to take them off anyways because these things are too short for that CMU plus the stucco, so I have to put longer screws in to actually use these wings once I get it in there. But I'll take this off just to test fit it for now. So I pretty much got everything in there. The hardest part is kind of chiseling the last couple millimeters on either side and the corners, because you basically on top here on each corner you got to make sure it goes into there. But once I get it into there, I go pretty much test fit it. So right now I've got a little bit more to go to chisel away, mostly in the back. I've cleared the front here, but I've just got to chisel the back here to get those things to clear. But once they clear, then the box goes in, see, right now. And then, like I said earlier, you go ahead and spray foam this to seal it up, or just caulk it up with a thick layer of caulk and let it dry overnight. All right, got that little bit of corner up. Now I'm basically all in now, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and fish the wire down, get it all out. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all the CMU mess too before I continue on. So since I have a 15 amp circuit here, I'm gonna use a 14.2. If you are working on something and it has a 20 amp circuit with the yellow Romex, make sure you're using 12.2 for that. But we'll go ahead and unroll this, fish it down the hole up top there, and try to get it into the hole at the bottom in one shot. It's gonna be kind of hard trying to get it down there because you're basically pushing it blind. Man, that was a big pain in the ass. Finally went to get my pull rods here. This is this set right here that goes up to like, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet, but I got 3 sections of it. Was able to fish it through to the hole and then pull the wire up. So I got it through now, so I'm pretty much good for wiring, and I can pretty much get this thing put all back together and sealed up now, and get the outlet and put that all in. Okay, I got this thing pretty much tight. I'm gonna go ahead and use this special bit right here that's designed for these outlets. That it's like a square, it's got a square and flathead tip that grabs it and you can torque it down pretty tightly. Make sure it's good. All right, got that pretty much done there. So if you guys never done an outlet before, you usually always want to wrap it around the outside here. That gets the best connection. These people that use all these quick connects that push it in here, over time, it might vibrate loose. So you want to be able to redo that. I might end up pulling this off camera and rehooking it just like this one right here, as well as this side. So when you hook it, you always want to hook it around in the clockwise position, so when it tightens, it closes that loop. I need to adjust this one a little bit. It's kind of hanging out, but once I adjust that more like this side, it'll be nice and tight. This thing is a little bit long on that tip, but I might readjust that too off camera. All right, I was able to redo it better now on both sides right there. So we'll go ahead and put this all back together down here and finish up top. All right, I went down to Lowe's, picked up a new outlet right here, tamper resistant outlet for like $1.60. I picked up this cover right here. This thing was like $9.50 right here. The reason why I got this one versus the other one that I used before was this one actually expands a little bit and you can pull the cable through the door without opening it. So that works for us since we're behind the TV here. We'll tuck the cable out of the corner right here. And then I went into my box of screws and got this much longer screw right here compared to the factory one, so it can get through that stucco and the CMU and all that. And then, so now I'm gonna go ahead and wire it up onto there and get this thing put in with the tabs and then fill it with the spray foam. So when you fish the Romex through here, you gotta pop that little tab out right there. And then once you get it settled, you push it back in. This tab kind of acts like a strain relief to keep this wire from pulling back. You wanna strip this wire all the way back to this point and then leave the bare wire, cut the end off here that we cut off right there, we bent to pull it through so it's nice and even. And then use the rest of this to kind of just fold back in once we wire up the outlet. Alright, so went ahead and filled it up with that spray foam. I did wipe it a little bit away right here that kind of expanded over here. I wiped it down with some acetone just to clean it up a little, but it's going to continue expanding. Usually if you don't touch it, it ends up bubbling all out and you have to shave it off with a razor afterwards. So I try to prevent some of that right now with cleaning it with some acetone so it doesn't spread too much. So this box right here comes in a bunch of different adapters for different configurations. If you want to do a switch, if you want to do a Decora, or just a regular duplex. And then in addition, as I mentioned earlier, this door kind of has that flex right there where it can extend out if you have to put like a power block or an extension cord in here. And then it also folds open with the door. So you basically just put those adapter piece into that hole right there and then put this thing right over the gang box once you have everything ready. So we're gonna go ahead and wire up the standard duplex socket right here. If you do it new and not sure what the color is, always remember the silver knobs or the white wire, which is neutral. The gold is gonna be your conductor, which is the black 120. And then the green right here is your ground. So just remember those three colors as you do it. I'm gonna do the loop side right here like I showed you earlier. I don't like the push-ins because those aren't reliable. So as you can see, pretty straightforward. Have that looped right there, so you always want to loop it that direction. You can see that little bit of extra that hangs off. It actually is supposed to rest against that little notch right here where my thumb's at. On the other side, you'll see it's the exact same way. I have a little bit more slack there where it's resting right on that spot, but using that bit that I have that's specially designed for these screws right here makes tightening a lot easier, and it also doesn't slip. All right, before I tighten everything up and put it back together, I want to turn on the power, push that switch, and then we want to test up here to make sure that it has power. So you want to plug something up just to test it, to verify before we close everything back up. So to test it, I'll just use my power tester. So on the hot side, it's beeping, so we're good here. All right, I jumped the gun a little bit about tightening that thing all the way down right there. It looks like on the back of here, I actually have to get that thing into there. Those two little notches right there, kind of put it in there, slide it over, and then tighten it down with this. If those screws aren't long enough, I might have to use the screws that came with the cover and replace the ones that are up here. All right, there you have it, guys. Went on pretty easily there. It was a little bit tricky getting that thing in last minute there, because actually when you put it in there, it doesn't line up right there with the hole. So I had to pop that center piece off, put it right onto there, and then kind of wedge it over it, and then screw it down to pop the center piece in place. But overall, everything's back together now and solid on here, and it won't go anywhere. So we're good here. Go ahead and test it again to make sure everything works and clean up your project. Hey guys, thanks for joining me all the way to the end of this video on doing that outlet here on my outdoor patio. As you can see, pretty straightforward wiring and everything once you get that hole opened up. If you have a CMU wall, you see all the trouble we have to do to get that hole opened up and just to get everything to fit right. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to your channel to stay on top of all my different DIY videos, go ahead and subscribe to your channel. Turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I upload a video. For all these different DIY projects, whether it's on the house, on the cars, in the garage, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.